And just like that, we are...
Yo, what's up, Josh? And today we're back with another video of the Goal Line Guys, and we're together.
Yeah.
Again. Yay, look at this. I can touch him. Yeah, see that? Yeah.
Hey. Please don't do that.
But yeah, we're back for another video. As the off season rolls on, we're finding more new creative and innovative ideas for the upcoming season. And as you know, today from the title, we are talking about some hot takes.
Yeah,
I got a game or two for you, but other than that, the season's coming up soon, and so we need to let the hot takes loose a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw that the Hall of Fame game is August 8th, which is, at this point, less than a month away for the Hall of Fame game. So that's going to be exciting.
I am excited. I'm missing football a ton, but without further ado, Josh, we got a big day filled with exciting things and hot takes that are going to probably piss a lot of people off.
For sure. Mine aren't like, happy hot takes.
Yes. But without further ado, the first thing I'll do, I have a game for you. I know we talked about this, and you said, James, cook something up nice, put a little remoulade sauce on it.
I got some salt. You know how it is.
I got some. Oh, hey, thank you. Now, for this game, we're going to talk about you as a general manager of a team, right?
Okay.
I am going to tell you a player, right?
All right.
And you can either, for your franchise, and you can either keep that player, or there are 3 cases.
3 cases.
And you can swap that player for a case that you pick. But you will not know the player.
Right. Okay.
So there's quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, a random skill player, and then offensive lineman and 2 defensive cats. So we're taking everything.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let's go with it.
So without further ado, we got our first case, and this is this is your franchise.
This is my franchise leader, and there's how many cases? Options.
There's 3. 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna offer you. Jake Delhomme as a quarterback.
I'm not taking Jake Delhomme.
He went to the Super Bowl.
He didn't win the Super Bowl.
He went to the Super Bowl. That's not a bad quarterback.
We all remember he got benched for Chris Winkie.
Okay.
28-year-old rookie.
Who was horrible. It was even worse than he was.
Yeah.
So you're gonna swap cases. Case 1, 2, or 3.
I want to go ahead and I'm going to take case.
Well, Josh, you struck out.
Great.
Because you got Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, a little trickery.
Yeah. So case 1 was Trent Dilfer.
Gosh.
Case 2 was Cam Ward.
Okay.
And you got Aaron Rodgers. So you got a franchise quarterback.
So I got a MVP, a Super Bowl winning quarterback to start my franchise off.
The greatest quarterback to ever live. Congratulations, Sean. You could see all around.
Well, it's
the legend himself.
It's kind of blurred out. Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. Okay.
All right. So you start off with Aaron Rodgers in the first case.
So that's pretty good. Good work.
Okay.
Pretty good.
All right.
Now, the next case I'm going to offer you is a running back. I'm going to offer you Joe Mixon.
See, Joe Mixon is hard because throughout all his... Now, is this like prime Joe Mixon?
Or is this like good Joe Mixon? Or think about like these guys as
in their primes.
It's like in their prime.
Okay, so this...
Or like as like just... Yeah, in general.
Gotcha. Yeah. So this isn't like mysterious injury, not ever showing up.
Yeah, you're getting the player. You're getting the player.
Now, is this before or after the bar incident?
Let's say
after was his prime.
Yeah. Let's say after. Let's say after. Yeah.
Joe Mixon is a Pro Bowl running back. He's also the heartbeat of some of those Bengals offenses, especially when the highs and lows. I'm going to go ahead and just take Joe Mixon. I'm going to play it safe.
Really? You're going to take Joe Mixon? Okay.
I'm going to take Joe Mixon. Now, what would have been the other
so cases? This one is interesting.
You
missed out on a big one. Case 1 was Sean Alexander.
MVP Sean Alexander's.
Case 2 was Kajana Carter.
Okay.
And case 3 was Alfred Morris.
Okay. You know what? I'm good with Joe Mixon.
Okay.
Obviously, Sean Alexander, MVP, 28 touchdowns in a single season. Alfred Morris was a Pro Bowl running back for, the Texans at one point.
Or
both. Well, no, he never made a Pro Bowl, but he had 1,000 yards rushing for the Texans, and it was really good for the Commanders at that point. And then a former first overall.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Yeah, that's all you can say about the last guy's first overall.
So I'm good with Joe Mixon.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
good with Joe
Aaron
Mixon.
Rodgers and Joe Mixon. Now, for your wide receiver, your wide receiver one,
Okay.
I'm going to offer you Mike Wallace.
I think I can do better than Mike Wallace. He's a good receiver, just got in such a crowded wide receiver room with the Steelers. Other than that, incredible touchdown catch.
So, Case.
Go ahead.
Case.
I'm going to take Case 2
Okay.
as my wide receiver 1.
Okay, so not bad. So Case 1 was Larry Fitzgerald.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's
Case
pretty good.
3 was Traylon Burks.
Okay.
So you did good in that. Case 2 is your favorite felon, Rashee Rice.
Okay. Rashee Rice is a solid slot receiver.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad. That's your wide receiver. So I think it's better than Mike Wallace, but
Yeah.
but not as good as Larry Fitzgerald. So you kind of struck out.
I will say I am building extremely a nightmare for the PR team. Rodgers has a history of not necessarily having the most credible off seasons.
Yeah.
Taking some breaks. Joe Mixon obviously has actually both Joe Mixon and Rashee Rice have
You have a PR nightmare
history.
team. Yeah.
My team has some fight in them.
They got some dogs. Let's say that. They got some dogs. The worst locker room in the entire league.
Gosh, this team's not talking to each other. Okay, all right. I'm happy with my team so far.
Okay. The next one is your tight end. I'm gonna offer you one of your guys, Brenton Strange.
Brenton Strange is one of like those type of guys. He does.
He's a guy.
He might not necessarily get all the stats, but he goes in, he gets the dirty work. He's one of the better blocking tight ends, of NFL right now, as well as one of the best hands. I do think I can do better.
Okay.
And considering the pattern of Larry Fitz being the best player with Case 1 and previous O'Shawn Alexander also Case 1,
Okay.
I'm going to go with Case 3 for this one.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, Case, you missed out on Case 1, OJ Howard.
Okay.
Hey,
Third round bust.
Case 2, Colston Loveland.
Okay, really solid this past year.
And case number 3, congratulations, Josh. Your locker room keeps getting better and better because you have Shannon Sharp.
Oh my
as
gosh.
your tight end.
You're giving me Unk at tight end. All right, my team
really
is
good.
My team's really good, really explosive, and still a PR.
Really explosive on the field and off the field.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hopefully it doesn't get on any more live streams anymore.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, don't bring me back to, his accidental live stream of him being in his, room. Okay. I'm very, very happy with my team so far.
Okay, so we'll recap. Aaron Rodgers.
Uh-huh.
Joe Mixon.
Yep. Rashee Rice.
And Shannon Sharp. This is your skill player. Now, this is just a wild card offensive player. You're kind of back at. And what better way to talk about a guy like this? I'm going to offer you Darren Sproles.
He is one of the first, I like to say, scat back.
Yep.
Players, a guy that is able to both be that safety foul receiver, running back hybrid. I like him. I am going to go to a Case though, because at this point I'm going for the most terrible off the field team. And I feel like Darren Sproles is too nice of a guy for my team.
I don't think he'd fit in very well.
The locker room won't suit him. I'm going to go with case number 2.
Okay, so you passed on case number 1 is Heath Miller.
Okay.
Bad.
Not terrible. He was a serviceable tight end.
Case number 3 was Rashad Bateman.
Okay.
Josh, you're hitting the nail on the head with this one. Congratulations. Case number 2, you got Randy Moss.
My gosh.
The craziest PR team. But
still, this is an incredible team to watch, both, in season and off season.
Yeah. This is you hit the nail on the head. Because at first I got a little worried. Joe Mixon is not bad, but you get 2 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Your last 2 picks. So your offense, man, that's a good offense. But
I mean, I'm basically getting, Randy Moss, like the old Patriots with a really good down the field threat in Randy Moss, and then a solid slot receiver in Rashee Rice.
Okay.
Defense.
Not bad. No, now you got to find a way to protect your quarterback.
Oh, offensive line.
Offensive lineman. I'm going to offer you this guy. Really, Aaron Rodgers' best friend's guy I knew a long time.
David Bakhtiari.
Brian Balaga.
Okay. Really good right tackle for the Packers for a while. Was not nearly as good for the Chargers. Was it 1 year after that he played for the Chargers?
Yep, because he
1
was
year?
hurt.
Here's the thing about the offensive line is, and I'll bring this up, I actually have a point of this a little bit later. A good offensive lineman and a good offensive line unit can make a team good to very great.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
A good offensive unit cannot make a bad team good, though.
Yes.
So once you're at that middle, which we are definitely a good team right now, if we can get a elite offense of linemen, our team is, sky's the limit.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with case 3.
Okay, so case number 1, you missed out on Anthony Munoz.
I knew you were going to say him. So there goes the top player on the market.
Case number 2, you missed out on Nick Mangold.
Oh my gosh.
Really, again, really good
I
pick.
swear, if you give me Alex Leatherwood or
Case
Evan
number-
Flowers,
I'm going to give you a guy that's near and dear to your heart, AJ Cann.
okay, AJ Cann is a serviceable guard. Obviously, a step below Brian Bulaga, but I truly think he could have gone a lot worse. So
Yes.
not crazy upset.
Okay, so without that, so you're off Aaron Rodgers, Joe Mixon, Rashee Rice,
Yep.
Shannon Sharp, Randy Moss, and AJ Cann leads your offensive line.
Okay.
squad.
That's not terrible.
Okay.
I am
Okay. Now, Josh, these ones are kind of loaded because you
Okay.
get 2 defensive captains.
right.
So, with your first defensive captain, I'm going to offer you another guy you love,
Uh-huh.
Eric Weddle. I'm going to tell you, these ones are
Loaded.
more loaded.
I love
Yes.
Eric Weddle. He's such a underrated part of those early, Chargers days. If you say it's loaded, I'm going to go ahead and swap Eric Weddle with I'm going to go back to case number 3.
Okay.
Don't like that
Case
smile.
number 1, you passed on Dwight Freeney.
Okay.
Elite.
The legendary swim move.
Case number 2, you passed on another Hall of Fame defensive end, Simeon Wright.
Simeon Rice is very good.
And with case number 3, Josh, you got the $90 million man himself, Deron Bland. Congratulations.
Is this post or
This
you said prime of these players?
I don't mean prime. I mean,
You
like,
said-
it's these players.
you said
got,
prime.
You got Deron.
You said-
Take it how you will. You got Deron Bland.
This is still the worst player on the board. 1000%.
Yes.
But if I'm looking forward, as a person that's an optimist, and the year before his contract, he was shut down. He got a bunch of
Yeah,
interceptions. He is not great. He's not great.
Okay.
Okay. So Deron Bland. So basically I have the early, Phil Rivers, LA Chargers.
Yes.
Right
Right now, yeah.
San Diego Chargers with Antonio Cromartie at corner right
Okay.
now. Okay.
Josh.
Really good offense. I'm putting up 40 points, but I'm letting up right now.
It's
42.
like the 2010s Packers.
This is like this
No,
year's
literally
Cowboys.
This is, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Defensive captain number 2. I'm going to offer you another guy that's kind of in the same ballpark, I think, of Eric Weddle. I'm going to give you Navarro Bowman.
Ooh, part of arguably the best linebacker duo
Mm-hmm.
almost ever.
Yep.
Everywhere he went, he was productive. It was with the 49ers, linebacker duo
Mm-hmm.
almost ever.
Yep.
Everywhere he went, he was productive. It was with the 49ers. It was with the Cardinals. Everywhere. I believe he's a 2-time second-team All-Pro,
Yeah.
but I do think I can do better. I'm going to go ahead and be safe in the middle, case number 2.
Okay. I think not bad. So,
Okay, not bad.
case number 1.
Yep.
You miss out on Boye Mafe.
Okay, I'm good with missing out on the, $100 million.
Case number 3. You miss out on Navarro Bowman's probably better teammate, Patrick Willis.
Okay, the other half of the greatest linebacker duo.
But you might have redeemed your secondary because case number 2, you got the Wolverine himself, Brian Dawkins.
Okay, hey, I'm happy with it.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, again, like I said, this is the most nightmare HR scenario
I think so, yes.
ever. Because Brian Dawkins is going to be slamming his head into lockers
Yeah.
in the locker room.
He'll be pouncing around trying to attack people.
Joe Mixon and Rashee Rice swinging it out.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers in the corner just high off his,
On his ayahuasca trip, hiding in a dark room,
Yeah.
you know.
Sharp is going to be streaming all of it.
Yeah, Josh. You got the worst PR team I think I've ever assembled, and I honestly did not make it that way.
You know what?
I
This is
slowly started to realize after you got like Rashid Rice, I was like, oh my goodness.
hey, you know what? This is fine with me. This is the most entertaining team, both in season and off season.
I don't think
created.
I don't think there's a lot of risks on your team. I think the risks are off the field issues.
Oh, yeah.
How it'll perform.
Injuries aren't necessarily the problem. The problem is, can my players not get suspended?
Yeah.
That'd be the main focal point of this entire team.
Yeah.
All right, I love it.
Yeah, good work.
Dude.
That was good. I'm glad you liked it. I curated a little playlist myself, and
Yeah.
you know, chef's treat to my good friends.
It's a great way to start this off before we get into, you know, arguably more of the sadder, more aggressive hot takes.
Yes. Now, Josh, without further ado, why don't you get us started?
Yeah, man.
With a hot take of yourself.
I have 3 that are more negative. So
Yeah.
I'm doing 3 hot takes in general with any team, and then 1 hot take when it comes to both the Jaguars and the Packers.
Yep.
So I'll start off with this one. This one might be the one I've thought about the most, and I might get the most press about it.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
I genuinely believe this is Justin Jefferson's last year as a Viking.
Really?
Yep. And let me break it down for you. Obviously, last year, the season ended not how they wanted to. They lost Sam Darnold the year before. They go all in JJ McCarthy. They're like, hey, we have the build around this young quarterback. We have a good offensive line, Christian Darrisaw. They went and they grabbed like Will Fries, all this offensive line. They go, hey, we have 3 really good receivers. One, future Hall of Famer, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor. We have a veteran, really good tight end, TJ Hawkinson. As well as you look on the defense, we have Brian Flores and an extremely good defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. Obviously, Justin Jefferson gained the majority of, those receptions, the run game. They're veterans. They're guys that are smart players. It should line up perfectly.
Yep.
What happens? JJ McCarthy, awful. Gets injured sometimes. You bring in Carson Wentz, Max Brosner. Bring in Carson Wentz, Max Brosner. All the situations, your quarterback play is disgusting. Your running game, what you thought would be these experienced Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, these 2 players, end up being not great.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that they were not great. You look at his offensive line, dealt with injuries. Christian Darrisaw cannot stay healthy to save his life. TJ Hawkinson cannot stay healthy. All this sort of stuff. And it comes out that Justin Jefferson is not happy. That was a big mark at the end of the season, was he is not happy. Your best player, I don't want to say potential, but a Hall of Famer when he retires, a guy who has so many records, is not happy. What do you do this offseason? You go, okay, let's figure out a quarterback situation. Let's go and get Kyler Murray off the streets, because that's what ended up happening.
Streets, yeah.
Cardinals give him this huge contract, and immediately 1 year into it, he's not good enough. So they go and grab him off the streets to compete for a quarterback spot. Is he better than JJ McCarthy? Honestly, I think so. I just don't know if it's necessarily enough to get him over that hump. You look at this offensive line is still the same. You still have so many question marks about injuries.
Yeah.
Tight end as well. TJ Hawkinson, there's videos of him coming out now of his training, is he the same player he was 2 years ago? Is he still
even through all his injuries? Yeah.
Exactly. You lose out Jalen Naylor. There's still so many questions, especially in the offseason, about Jordan Addison. Is he mature enough? As well as is he serviceable enough to take the top off the defense or be that consistent wide receiver too? This defense is just consistently getting worse. If you really think about it, you lose out on John Gennard. You just continuously lose out on some of these better players that you have. Cameron Bynum 2 years ago, Harrison Smith again this year. He still has not re-signed. Doesn't know if he's retiring, what is happening there. And then this entire interior defensive line, you lose out Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen. And what do? You go and get guys that have potential to replace him. Caleb Banks, Jake Golday, a linebacker. These guys are not going to be able to produce to the standard of what it was last year as their first year.
Yeah.
So all it comes back to say is you have a upset star wide receiver that is breaking all these records, and you go and you think you can do what's best for him by getting him quarterback competition. I don't think it's enough. I think after this year, I think he forces himself out of this situation in Minnesota.
That is a really interesting take.
And we've seen,
because we've seen it happen before.
Yeah, not just wide receivers, because we know there's that stereotype of wide receivers being some of the biggest divas.
Yep.
And I'll give Justin Jefferson all the credit. That doesn't seem to be that way. But we've seen star players, especially on our teams as well, force themselves out of it.
Well, I think it shows two things, and things that I'm concerned about, especially in the quarterback room. One is that not keeping Sam Darnold might be one of the biggest mistakes of the 2020s that
Or
any
Daniel
team,
Jones.
or even Daniel Jones. And I also, and I've talked about this before, is I'm not 100% bought in on the Kyler Murray experiment.
Yep.
Because again, like you said, there's a reason why they signed him to a veteran minimum.
100%.
This is not Kyler Murray doing Hail Marys and dragging his team to the playoffs. This is a guy who signed such a massive contract and was cut
Yeah.
a year into it.
A team is willing to take up all that dead money and basically suspend the future success of their team to strictly get one player out of there. And it's not like Kyle Murray is like this, great quarterback who has no controversies.
Yeah.
I mean, good thing a new Call of Duty is about to come out. Is he even going to be on the practice field?
You never know.
But exactly, I'm right there with you.
I found that really interesting. And obviously there would be an incredible market for a guy like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And this Vikings team really, in my opinion, is at the point where they have so much money issues and they're trying to pull together everything that they have. It's basically saying, if this doesn't work out, we're going to have to blow the whole thing up.
Yeah, they don't even have a general manager.
No, actually they did. They just hired one. They just hired one. Yeah.
But the fact is that there's no face to this team right now.
Yeah.
Especially in the front office section. It's, hey, we have a bunch of these guys and we're letting them, like Cameron Bynum, when he left, he was a really good safety for the Vikings, but he became one of those key pieces for the reason why the Colts were so good for the first 8 games last year.
Yeah.
12 games. So it's the fact that they're constantly losing players to free agency and they're not replenishing. And then especially, this is one of the worst drafting teams
in
the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So, and this draft didn't show anything. You go and get 2 guys, Caleb Banks and Jake Golday, who have the potential, but are either new to the position in Jake Golday, or have been so injured throughout their entire college career that there's not enough tape on them.
Caleb Banks, yeah.
Exactly. It's potential, and that's not what this team needs right now. It needs a true answer, and I don't think Kyle Murray is that answer.
I like that. I like that idea. It would be super interesting to see how much of a package he would go for.
100%.
But I honestly could definitely see that happening. I like that idea. But yeah, what a way to kick it off.
I know.
What a way to kick it off.
I'm not gonna lie, it goes downhill from here. That was my best hot take. So we'll see from the rest.
There's definitely one that I have that I've thought about a lot, and I think I've kind of made a decision. There's a lot of different things. The thing is that I think it's around the league, 4 new teams make the playoffs and 4 new teams miss the playoffs every year.
Right.
And I have 2 particular teams in the playoffs every year.
Right.
And I have 2 particular teams in mind that I think that other people have expectations for, and I really am concerned about the way these teams are built. I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs make the playoffs. I don't think they do. I think this team is past its prime immensely. And I get they brought in Kenneth Walker and I get they brought in Mansour Delaney, but they also lost a lot of players. And I'm just not buying stock in this team because, like, listen, I get some people might make the argument, well, the Chiefs had a horrible running game. Kenneth Walker brings in, you look at Saquon Barkley in comparison. I don't think Kenneth Walker is nearly the same player that Saquon Barkley is.
100%.
And I think, the running game held this Chiefs team back, but I think there's a lot more to it. Offensively, I think the question is, Mahomes coming back from an injury, can he take this team to new lengths with a really weak receiving group? They have been so desperate because they knew that with Tyreek Hill gone and Travis Kelce getting older, they need to find replacements. They have not done a good job.
Yeah, and I want to throw 2 points to this for you. Speaking of wide receivers, their most productive wide receiver they've had the last 2 years is a guy who stole from a practice squad for the Patriots, and Tyquan Thornton.
Yep.
That's been their most productive. You can argue Rashee Rice, but there's so much controversy of him going on right now.
Yeah.
You can't even guarantee he's going to be on the field.
I think
I'm going to throw another idea at you. The fact is this: Patrick Mahomes will go down as one of the best quarterbacks, if not up there as the greatest, by the time he retires. When he's on the field, the Chiefs always have a chance of winning. There's some quarterbacks that's always going to happen. The issue is this: he's coming off a significant knee injury. He's stated to be day 1 starter. Now, how much Now, that's the point is a 50% Patrick Mahomes good enough to move this team to victory, the
Yeah.
first 7 weeks of the NFL season? And then by that time, the last after 7 weeks and he's fully healthy, can he summon this poor roster to get to the playoffs?
I think and that's the second thing is I think that this team has been really getting by on bad roster
Yep.
creations. And I think this past year really, really showed the weaknesses and the holes of their team. And again, yeah, they might have star power. Their stars are really old.
Yeah.
Really, Mahomes is not any younger. Travis Kelce is coming off of arguably his worst season.
Chris
Chris
Jones.
Jones is extreme. And again, they've been trying to fill in replacements. They haven't gotten guys. And their division is fantastic.
Yeah.
Denver basically didn't do anything and got Jalen Waddle. The Chargers are, still a threat. The Raiders are even teams.
Yeah.
People just say they make the playoffs because they're the Chiefs.
Right.
I think that time has passed. I think that time has passed in their situation. The other team I'll talk about in the NFC side is a team, again, I have a lot of concerns about, and I think this could be a really surprising downfall of this team, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
I think that the Eagles will miss the playoffs next year. I think that this team, it's not just an external thing because roster-wise, the Eagles are a good roster.
Right.
Yeah, they lost A.J. Brown, and there's questions in the receiver room on how they're going to build around it. But I have two main gripes with this team and concerns. One is Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
He is so similar to me in the way that I think of Bryce Young, where he sometimes shows off really good games, but he has never taken, in my opinion, that next step to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. I think that he in his games were carried by really, really good, well-rounded rosters. And especially without his number one target that he relied on so much.
Yeah.
You look at the rest of their offense, Saquon Barkley was coming off of definitely a disappointing year. Obviously you cannot replicate a year that he had as offensive player of the year, rushed for 2,000 yards.
100%.
But I was really disappointed in his play. The other thing I'd say is their offensive line. It's not getting any younger. They had a lot of issues with it last year, surprisingly. But the other main concern I have with this team is just coaching and all the drama around it. I know A.J. Brown contributed to a lot, but this team is toxic.
100%.
It is a toxic environment, and it showed how much that team got held back last year. I think that this team will have a lot of issues with that. I think they'll have a lot of offensive struggles. I think they'll play a lot more into the defensive mindset with Vic Fangio. But I also think that, again, this division keeps getting better around them.
Yeah.
The Giants got a whole lot better. The Cowboys, were the best offense in the league and now have really invested stock into their defense. And even the Commanders, they poured a lot in. Think they just made the NFC Championship 2 years ago behind Gene Daniels. I think these are two teams that have built themselves up so much.
Yeah.
But I think this is the year where it kind of sets in and it says, we have to change something about it.
And here's some points I want to mention, especially about this Eagles team. Is there's a stat that I saw maybe yesterday that said within it might be like the last 2 or 3 years that Jalen Hurts has the most deep passes over 40 yards completed.
Yeah,
something like that. And when I look at that, I look at, okay, that's great, but you also need more than just a quarterback for a deep completion. You need an offensive line, you need a play caller, and you need somebody to catch that ball. And we've seen it year in and year out. You need an offensive line, you need a play caller, and you need somebody to catch that ball. And we've seen it year in and year out that this, not so much last year, this Eagles offensive line was one of the best.
Yeah.
You legitimately have Hall of Famers. I'm saying this is, 2 years ago, Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, as well as Jordan Mailata, who is a potential all-pro. And then you have serviceable guards interchangeable. And then you have such a powerful run game in Saquon Barkley, where you're pounding the rock so much, where you're sinking in those linebackers and safeties getting so close to line of scrimmage, which allows for that play action with A.J. Brown, who's that physical one-on-one jump ball specialist. And Devontae Smith, who is that savvy route runner and Dallas Goedert as well, who can get down the field. So that allows Jalen Hurts to be able to convert these long completions and potential long touchdowns because of the people around him.
Yeah.
So it kind of just goes to show that it's not necessarily just Jalen Hurts. You could put almost any quarterback back there in some of these situations, and you're going to see a lot of success.
Yes.
Now, with that being said, can every quarterback do the Philly special, or not the Philly special, but the what are they calling it? The tush push. I almost said the brotherhood.
Brotherly shove.
Yeah,
brotherly shove. Yeah.
But it's the fact that Jalen Hurts has a specialty, and that is rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
But that's not being a true start of the game and the game quarterback. So I'm right there with you. The roster itself is a lot older. You got a lot of question marks. Zach Bond had a much lesser year last year.
Yep.
And now he's even getting older. That defensive line, I still have question marks about the pass rush. I know they traded for John Kennard, but still I have question marks. Just question marks all over this team. Can the offensive line stay healthy? Is A.J. Brown, can they fill in those catches and those receptions even with Malachi Lemon?
Yeah.
Is Saquon Barkley going to take, a step down to a significantly worse season?
Yeah.
There's a lot of question marks, but I agree with you. I can see definitely a situation where one of the top teams in the NFC can definitely fall down 100%.
All right. What do you got next?
Yeah, I love it. Speaking about a team missing the playoffs, this one's a pretty hot take. You ready?
Yeah.
I think the Patriots miss it.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Talking about the other A.J. Brown team.
Yeah. I'm going to, again, it's probably, with all these hot takes, like we might hit on one out of the 6 that we talked about.
I would be super proud of myself if I.
Exactly. So this Patriots team last year, there was so much talk about them having the easiest schedule, and they did, and it showed. Especially, even when you think of the playoffs, it showed. They go against the Texans in arguably the worst weathered game in the season. And they win because C.J. Stroud had 7 turnovers. Really poor game. Go to the Denver Broncos. Well, you weren't playing against Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Like, they had a very easy path to the Super Bowl, as easy as one can be. And once they made it to the Super Bowl, it all crashed.
Mm-hmm.
All the momentum that they had fully crashed. You look at this season, Drake May is great. I have this receiver group definitely has upgraded, but so has the possibility of less commodity with somebody like A.J. Brown being in there.
It's drama on top of drama at this point. Yeah.
I don't even want to get into the whole situation with
Vrabel.
Exactly. Offensive line. Honestly, you bring in Elijah Vera Tucker. He's a better offensive guard. Can he stay healthy?
Hasn't played a full season healthy.
Exactly. This defense, I still have question marks about.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Christian Gonzalez is fantastic. Carlton Davis is getting older. This defensive line, interior-wise, is fantastic. Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, if he can stay healthy as well. I have a lot of questions about the edge rushers. I don't think Harold Landry and Draymond Jones are can be, that much of an impact making the, defensive line. I have a lot of question marks. I think a true season where you're up against high quality opponents, especially in a division with, the Bills and with very limited wild card options.
Yeah.
I can see a situation where they don't make the playoffs.
Too, I think the Patriots, you touched on it a bit. They had a really, really easy path to the playoffs. Yep. I think that if Bo Nix was at Denver in that, I think there was a really big chance that Denver would have won that game and went to the
100%.
I think
if C.J. Stroud doesn't have 7
4
interceptions and 3 turnovers or 3 fumbles, 100%.
There are definitely concerns with that. And I think it comes to how much is the drama off the field going to affect the on the field concerns? Because the team went from being one of the most disciplined franchises to now having 2 guys that are arguably the most drama filled players or people
exactly
in the NFL world. And you're right. I think their roster is a good roster. I don't think it's a thing where they have a terrible roster. I think you're right. I think there are definitely some situations where guys are going to have to step up to the plate. And it's, again, they're taking a bunch of guys from different places. And, you're probably not going to have a guy like Caleb Chase on break out immediately and be crazy after being a big bust.
Right.
You're going to need guys to step up, even when you're paying all that money. But I think the main thing with that is, get them battle tested a little more, right?
For sure.
They need to play really tough games in really tough environments. And they kind of cakewalked it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think you really saw that in the Super Bowl where it was like, okay, now we're playing against a really formidable team that doesn't have a lot of injuries or terrible quarterback play, and they got
Even if you look at this offensive line, they made a few changes.
yeah,
They shipped away Garrett Bradbury. So now you're moving Jared Wilson, who was your rookie, third round pick left guard, back to
yep,
center. And then you brought on Elijah Ferry Tucker. Can he play a full season? No, we kind of just talked about that. And then you go and draft Spencer Fano. He might not even touch the field.
yep.
And then you still have considerable questions about Will Campbell. Can he be that future left tackle, which we saw positives and very, very, very low negatives last year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, hey, can they step up to the plate? But I really like that. Again,
Yeah,
like I said, 4 new teams make it in, 4 new teams make it out. Right now we got 3. Who do you think is the 4th is the question. I don't know. The world doesn't know. But
I would say if they didn't almost have 4 free wins in their division with the Jets and the Dolphins, if you put the Patriots, you swap the Patriots with the Raiders and you put the Patriots with the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers, they might be the worst team out of those 4.
yeah,
If they continuously play those 3 teams twice every year.
yeah,
So I guess the situation where they don't even make the playoffs this year.
I like that. Now, you talked about a trade earlier, and I kind of have a hot take of a possible trade. I think, in my opinion, one of these 2 quarterbacks will be traded next offseason due to stuff that goes on this season.
Okay. I wonder.
The first one is something that has crept up a little more than usual,
Okay.
and that is Joe Burrow.
There's been some talks.
I
Okay.
think this Bengals team I think this is their really big push. And if they don't get this, there's going to be a lot of issues. And I think it's 2 things. One, Joe Burrow has had a lot of injury inconsistency and has held back the team in that way.
Yep.
And they have not had a lot of success since and have been very much in the middle ground. But I also think it's him. I think that he is very frustrated with what the organization is doing, what's going on. And I would not be surprised if Cincinnati, especially with the upcoming quarterback class this year, really considers shipping Joe Burrow off somewhere to get a lot of draft capital, but also get a prime quarterback player.
Yep.
Second one, keep it in the same division. Lamar Jackson. I think there's a strong case with Baltimore that Lamar Jackson could get traded if they have a bad season. I think one of these 2 teams will be below their expectations, and I think that they have to realize that what they're doing is not working, because for the Ravens, it's a different.
Right.
A lot of older stars, there's frustrations with the way their rosters are constructed. This Baltimore team has relied on Derrick Henry for so long, but I don't know how much he has left in the tank. And I'm talking about the king here.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson has expressed his frustrations. He regressed from last season. So the question is, can this guy still take you to a Super Bowl? And if that doesn't work out, hey, you might want to ship him when the time is right and when people are getting desperate. And in exchange, you just brought in a new defensive-minded coach. You still have some pieces you can construct your roster around and establish a new franchise quarterback and a new offensive skill set, because, listen, I love running the ball and being super physical and the read options, but they have lacked for so long in the passing game. As much as they beat the crap out of the Packers with their running game, and I remember that game, that was horrible, this is a passing league.
Yep.
And they have struggled with doing that. I think that these are just 2 star quarterbacks that have been disgruntled with their franchise in the same division. And I think one of these teams is going to consider selling high on a quarterback to kind of rebuild their roster from the ground, because I love these quarterbacks, but I also think that slowly over time, there have been gripes with the way that they play and what they've been doing in their situations. And I think one of them will be traded. We can talk about possibilities, because I think there's a lot of teams that would make some big stock, but especially, and this is what I'd say to you with Justin Jefferson, I think this is going to be a really big sell high offseason because of the way the quarterback class and the draft class is this coming season. I think this is a perfect opportunity for teams to move on from disgruntled stars or star players, because they know they have the ability to pick in a really, really fantastic draft, and quarterbacks especially, because now they have the opportunity to be in one of the deepest quarterback classes I think we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, no, I enjoy that. I think there's a few points to both quarterbacks. I'll start off with Lamar Jackson. You might be saying Lamar Jackson, he would never request a trade. He has in the past.
That's it. Yeah,
He has in the past. There's so many arguments you can make about Lamar Jackson. He's this electric 2-time MVP. Is his skill set and the way that he plays, is he able to play along throughout an entire career? You can make the argument that we just saw this past season with those injuries, that it's not a long-term solution. He's been one of the most electric players. That playing style has never led to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You think back, even just quarterbacks that were a lot more likely to be able to run the ball, and you think about it in the Super Bowl, it's hard to come up with any. Michael Vick never made it.
Yeah.
I think you might be able to argue that Steve Young is one of the last quarterbacks that were truly a dual threat that's made Super Bowl.
Yep.
So you look at someone like Lamar Jackson, the history is there with him potentially requesting a trade. Head coach that he's been with his entire career is not there anymore. So you don't really have any connection to the new Jesse Minter coming in as a head coach. You've been extremely frustrated with the weapons around you. Sure, Zay Flowers is a Pro Bowl wide receiver, but they made an awful contract extension with Rashad Bateman.
Yep.
Mark Andrews is just getting older, and he's shown flashes of regression, especially in key moments.
Yep.
And that defense has led up so many points, especially this last year, where it's led to, do they give enough trust to Lamar Jackson? So I could definitely see that being a possibility of just being frustration. When you look at the Bengals side and Joe Burrow, to me, it goes more of the front office side. They have given this Bengals team so many opportunities with Zach Taylor. I wouldn't be surprised if this season's work if they just completely start over. It was very, very obvious from the start that they realized that this might be potentially their last season that they have.
Yep.
Because why else would you go and overpay for Dexter Lawrence so much like they did with the 10th overall pick?
Yeah.
So obviously they're like, okay, it's this season or it's nothing. You already paid Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You're giving out these massive contracts. You've done your best to help the offensive line. It's still very poor. And if this isn't Joe Burrow's answer, if he can't stay healthy, if he can't lead him to the promised land, blow it all off. I can see it perfectly with both points. I like it.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. That's the way the football world works. Now, what do you got next for us?
Yeah. So my last hot take when it comes to just the overall NFL, I'm looking at a team that's significantly disappointing this last offseason, and I don't see a positive progression. I see even more regression coming from this team.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what it is before I tell you?
No, but I'm interested in who you're going to say.
I think it's the Buccaneers, man.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So this Buccaneers team 2 years ago, Baker Mayfield was top of the road, 41 touchdowns. This team was making the playoffs. It was explosive. They make some changes when it comes to who's the new head coach. And last year, between various injuries, Bucky Irving was out for various long periods of time and no one really knew why. Mike Evans finally broke the streak of 1,000 yards. Baker Mayfield looked like a shell of himself. Offensive line dealt injuries, especially Tristan Wirfs. Defensively was gross. It's not great. And I'm looking at this team, and even right now in the offseason, there's so many question marks about Baker Mayfield. He wants a new contract. There hasn't been much talk because it is his final year in his contract. I can see a situation with how this team is structured, especially with so many key veterans leaving through retirement, Lavonte David, through free agency, like Jamel Dean and Mike Evans. I can see a situation where the Bucs are fighting for a top pick in this upcoming year.
I would not be surprised by that at all.
There's a lot of issues when it comes to head coach. And you think about this, you look at just strictly in their wide receiver core, I feel like has been such a highlight of this Bucs team the last 10 years. You have Chris Godwin, who hasn't been great in the last 5 years because of various injuries. You look at Emeka Egbuka, who showed a lot of flashes, but when he was given that spot and that show light, he was not very good.
Yep.
And then you have the prototype in Ted Hurst, a guy that comes from Georgia State who has the size, the speed, but can he make that change to the NFL?
Yeah.
You look at this defense, year after year, they continuously lose key pieces. Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean. You look at the defensive line. I mean, their best player on the defense, other than Antoine Winfield, is a Vita Vea that wants a new contract that has yet to get it.
Yep.
And Yaya Diaby. Those are not great scenarios to be as a Bucs fan.
It is not.
I can see a situation, especially if injuries continue, and there is still disagreement with various contracts that this team falls into another situation where it's fighting for a top spot in the NFL draft.
I would not be surprised with that either, and I really like the way that you focus that.
Yeah.
And that kind of comes to my final point in that I'm going to list off what I think are going to be the 5 worst teams in the NFL
Okay.
coming up.
All right.
this
I'm ready
season.
for it.
I think there's 2 that are really obvious, and that
Yep.
is the Cardinals and the Dolphins. I had another take that was, I think that this team, these 2 combined teams, might only win 2 games.
Jets, Colts.
No, the Cardinals.
Oh,
And
Cardinals.
I think the Jets are definitely up there.
Yep.
I think they have a chance to do better though. Cleveland's the same.
Yep.
And if anything, I had the Jets a little bit past this because again, I do feel a little more confident in what they do. But the final 2 teams are the teams I had: the Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Browns, the Bucks.
The Bucks. Yep.
Again, you really hit the nail on the head. I
Yeah,
don't
we-
think I need to explain much
Yeah, we
more
were
about
kind
that.
of sharing brain cells on that one.
Final one is the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, again, another team that
I think that this team has been extremely frustrating with the way that they've curated their roster.
100%.
And I think what happened is they had a formula to go into the season. It immediately got shut down once Daniel Jones went down, but also once they realized, hey, they're just giving the ball to JT every single play and play action with
100%.
Daniel Jones. I'm really concerned. Again, did not really like what they did this offseason.
Yep. They overpaid to keep some of their guys,
They-
while also having to allocate the money that they gave to, Alec Pierce, for example. They had to allocate that money and send off key veterans.
Yeah, I think
Michael
the Titans
Pittman
are.
and Kenny Moore as well.
I think the Titans are much better of a team.
Yeah.
I think that this team has a really strong chance to be a bottom 5 team in the NFL.
100%.
But yeah, so that is my thoughts on all the
Yeah.
bad stuff in the world. But I guess I'll say my first Packer hot take.
Yeah, 'cause I only have one Jack.
I have one
take.
Packer hot take, but my hot take is a big one for me. I think this finally is the year in, I'd say probably 4 years since Devontae Adams, that Green Bay finally has a pass catcher with over 1,000 receiving yards.
Fair
I think
enough.
this is the year. And do you know who I think it's going to be?
Matthew Golden.
No, I think it's going to be Tucker Kraft.
Well, okay. The only question about that is he going to be able to be healthy enough?
He will be back.
Okay, that was my question.
He will be back.
That's why I was
He's on a
hesitant.
much better pace than Micah Parsons. I think he's going to start the year, but I love this guy. He
Yep.
was on pace with guys like Trey McBride at the start of last season. I really do think that out of anyone that could do it, and listen, I love Christian Watson. I think Matthew Golden could be a big breakout candidate, but I think if there's one player that can do it, has some of the best yak for his position, very similar to Trey McBride, and is also Jordan Love's favorite target, was his favorite target until he got hurt. I think that Tucker Kraft will have 1,000 yards on the year starting whenever he starts.
Yeah.
I think I really want it to happen.
Yeah.
It's a strong possibility of happening, but that is my Green Bay Packer hot take.
And I agree with you. Only reason why I was hesitant to say Tucker Kraft was because I was unsure about his availability with his big injury last
Yeah.
year. If he is fully going to be able to be healthy week 1.
Yes.
But I think not only is it goes towards the talent that Tucker Kraft has in this situation, but I think it also goes to show that there's a lot of targets that are now completely gone from the Packers, receiving room.
Yep.
Romeo Doubs, especially Dontavius Wicks, and there's still a little uncertainty about Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
But I that's a very real possibility if Tucker Kraft is able to come back and be that healthy monster at a tight end that was shown last year.
Yep.
Those flashes, I 100% agree with you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I love that one. Lastly, for my Jags hot take, this one's a little bit different. I do think that Travis Hunter will be fully healthy this upcoming year. There's been reports that he is even faster right now than he was last year,
Oh, baby.
clocking up to and above 22 miles per hour off of a significant PCL.
That's like me, yeah.
Yeah, after a significant PCL knee injury. So my hot take is you add in Travis Hunter to this lineup both offense and defense, wide receiver and
Yep.
corner. And I truly believe that Travis Hunter will be the Jaguars' not necessarily secret weapon, but their superpower this year.
You think he's going to take that next step into what people really thought he could be?
I think situational, he will. I do not believe that with the current talent and coaching, like he will play 100% snaps on both sides.
People forget, people talk about the draft trade of getting him.
Yep.
There's a reason why Jacksonville did that.
Yeah,
That
100%.
there really has not been a guy like that since like Charles Woods.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, you could say Deion,
Here's what I'm gonna throw at you, and it's not necessarily because of the talent, but it's because of the situation he's with the Jags. If Travis Hunter was with the Commanders right now, he's starting corner 1 and he's starting wide receiver 2.
Yes,
and he's playing
100%.
1,000 snaps.
Yes.
Game. The situation is with the Jags, he's going to get a limited opportunity with both wide receiver and corner because of the position group that he will be.
Yep.
Wide receiver for the Jags is one of the most underrated groups. You have basically a wide receiver to do one of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Parker Washington can be that middle ground, can be the guy that's your go-to savvy slot, or not necessarily slot, but route runner. Jacoby Myers is your veteran, almost your possession guy. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr., such a big talk about in the offseason, is your deep threat. Travis Hunter can come in and be that rack, that another player take the top off the defense, kind of just be that you're stuck in a situation, throw a one-on-one jump ball. We saw with the Chiefs last year.
Yep.
Force injury. Defensively, you have a good group of 3 corners that should be day one starters. Jerry Jones, Jordan Lewis, and Monteric Brown got new contracts. You also bring in the fact that the Jags love to play big nickel and dime a lot, and hence why we brought in so many safeties.
We also got Ransaw that's coming back.
Exactly.
Antonio Johnson.
That's the thing. Yeah. Antonio Johnson was tied with the Jags in interceptions last year. Eric Murray is your veteran. And then you bring in the talent of Caleb Ransall, who was a 3rd-round pick last year, and Jalen Husky, who's a 3rd-round pick this year.
Yep.
To compete in that safety spot. That's a lot of players that can play similar positions of Travis Hunter. So my hot take is when Travis Hunter is on the field, which realistically should be about 50% of the total team snaps, he's going to dominate and be one of the top players every time he touches the field.
I love that. I think I think people overshadow it, but I think
100%.
There's a reason why. And I think 100% he could take that step and be the X factor the Jags need.
Exactly. And I think he showed flashes last year. I also think a 1 year under the system, and not only that, but under the way that the Jags, coaching staff has taken him under the wing and kind of figure out how they want to allocate the snaps.
Yeah.
Being an additional year under that, especially this offseason, will allow him to really, really take off immediately this upcoming season.
I like that. Look at that. Both skill positions getting ready to break out for both teams. Man. But with that being said, Josh, we have just spiced up this whole podcast with all of our hot takes for the viewers out.
I mean, our takes were so hot that, literally is raining to cool us down right now.
I know. All the thunder and lightning is trying to get us right now, but we can't. With that out of the way, guys, Josh, thanks so much for being here with me in my Green Bay man cave.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys so much for listening to our hot takes. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
If you have any other hot takes, maybe about our teams, preferably good ones. But Josh, with that out of the way, man, that's all I got.
Yeah, and for everyone out there, keep an eye out for different posts for the next coming weeks. You might have some that are, kind of what we had in the past with just standard podcast clips. We might have some edits out. We might have some interactive posts. Just keep an eye out. Other than that, have a great weekend. I don't have anything else.
Have a great weekend. Let's have some fun.